In the name of the merciful, compassionate God, Allah. Peace and the mercy and blessings of God be with you all. Ramadan Mubarak. May God make this a blessed month for you and all of your loved ones. During this month, we're dealing with 30 traits that we want to improve, 30 little things that we can change in our lives so that by the end of Ramadan, we're each better persons. So 30 days to a better you. So for today, we're dealing with how to get closer to Allah. So first, why is this an important topic? Have you ever thought about whether God is close or far? Where exactly is God? Our Christian friends, at least some of them, will say that God lives inside of them. So they feel a rather close attachment to God. How do Muslims feel? Do we feel that God is too far away, that we can't reach Him? Sometimes we see problems occurring on earth. We see sin and crime and cruelty. And we wonder, where is God in all of this? Well, let's look into the Quran to see what the Quran says about the closeness of God to human beings. In fact, the Quran shows us that God is very close to us. God is always watchful and attentive to everything we do and say. And apart from the fact that angels are said to be recording whatever we say, God is shown to be quite closely aware. He is Khabir and He is Alim. He knows all things. He's informed and so on. More than this, in the Quran, in the second chapter, in the 186th verse, we read, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my servants ask concerning me, say, I am near. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I answer the call of whoever is supplicating towards me. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So let them respond to me and believe in me so that they may be rightly guided. Incidentally, this verse is smack in the middle of other verses dealing with the task of fasting during the month of Ramadan. And we may infer from this that there is a close relationship between fasting and closeness to God. So this verse is assuring us that we are very close to God and that God is very close to us and He's responding to our prayers. In the 8th chapter of the Quran, in the 24th verse, we read a passage that says that God يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. God is in some way between a human being and the heart of that human being. So if we speak about God being internal to us, in some way we are getting this idea here. Though, of course, in the Muslim understanding and in Muslim theology, more generally, we think of God as being transcendent. He's not immanent in the world. The world is a separate creation and separate and distinct from the Almighty God, who is transcendent. That's the best way of putting it. But here we are assured that despite that transcendence of God, He is nonetheless close to human beings, so close as He can be described as hovering between a human being and that human being's heart. In the 50th chapter of the Quran, in the 16th verse, we read that God is closer to a human being than that human being's jugular veins. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, it says in the Arabic. So what this all means for us is that we should not think of God as being so far as to be unreachable. We should think of God as being close. He is paying attention to what we say and do. And we can always reach out to God as our creator, as our fashioner, our sustainer, and even in some way as our friend, without being in any way disrespectful and without taking anything away from the majesty of God and the awe with which we should stand before God. Now, how do we get closer to God? Well, one way is by fasting during the month of Ramadan. We read in a hadith that when we fast, the reward for that is God Himself. The hadith says that God will give the reward, and one way of interpreting it is that God Himself will be the reward, because وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. I am going to give the reward, or I would be the reward for it. And when we are fasting, we are aware that we are fasting for the sake of God. No one else it matters because we could be in our privacy, but we're still maintaining the rules of fasting because we know that it is between us and God. We can also draw closer to God by voluntary actions. A hadith says that when we do voluntary deeds for the sake of God, we draw closer and closer to God until God becomes the hands with which we touch, the feet with which we walk, and so on. So he almost becomes the limbs of our body in a symbolic way to mean that whatever we are doing with our limbs is going to be in harmony with the good pleasure of God. More generally, doing things for the good pleasure of God. The Quran says, for example, that the believers feed the needy for the sake of the face of God. And a hadith says that God is going to ask people on the day of judgment, why didn't you feed me when I was hungry? And people will say, well, you are the creator of the world, so how could you have been hungry? And God will reply, didn't you know that such and such a servant of mine was hungry? And don't you realize, had you fed them, you would have been feeding me. So that shows that we can achieve this closeness to God by taking care of the poor and the needy, which is one of the traits we try to cultivate during the month of Ramadan. So altogether, let us try during this month to get closer and closer to God. One of the ways of doing that is by repenting, and one way of speaking of repenting in Arabic is returning to God. Tubu ila Allahi jami'an ayyuhal mu'minun. The Quran says in Surah 24, verse 31, return all of you together to God, believers you are. So returning to God by asking God for the forgiveness of our sins, all of these are ways in which we can draw closer and closer to God. Let's do that today. Let's do it for the rest of Ramadan and for the rest of life. Peace be with you. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of Let the Quran Speak, I want to say thank you for supporting us. Please continue to support us this Ramadan. May God bless you and your loved ones with the very best always, and may you draw ever closer to God this Ramadan.